Being able to self-heal, self-repair, self-analysis, that's also something we're going to see in 26.
When I am clocking out from work and I get home, I don't want to spend 3 hours behind my switch and reconfiguring my whole network while my two kids are like yelling because the Netflix is not working and my wife is getting frustrated because she's not into tech. I just want to self-heal the system while I'm having supper.
Give me all the self-healing possible.
Yeah, exactly. How are people able to take the experience to another level? And
I don't know if you guys are Swifties or not, but did you watch?
No.
The Era Tour?
Did you watch?
No.
Okay, well, just from a nerdy AV standpoint.
Apparently it was nice.
From AV to AI, the outlook for 2026 looks bright. In this episode, we're going to talk about all the new stuff that's coming out for 2026. So grab your headphones, pull up a chair, and join us for some honest, sometimes nerdy, always fun conversations, all happening behind the rack. Gentlemen, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
It was a great end of year, 2025. And getting ready for this episode, I realized that there's a lot of cool stuff coming down the pipeline, 2026. There's a lot of stuff that was kind of sleeping, I find, in 2025. And I'm seeing a lot more emerging stuff that's being more readily accessible, I find. Or going to be more readily accessible, lower cost, even though there's tariffs looming and all that stuff, but lower cost stuff. So I think really, really cool. What about you guys? What are you guys hearing?
I think from, I'll talk a little bit about the manufacturing standpoint. I think there's a lot of trends, like you said, that were kind of happening in 2025 that were mentioned, some wants, and I think they'll actually be delivered in 2026. That's what I feel. But from a manufacturing standpoint, we're starting to see a lot more, I hate to say it, but wireless, everything from wireless sound to wireless lighting control. We're seeing advancements in battery technology as well. So now we're talking about wireless power too. So I think we're going to start seeing a nice combination between wireless protocols, like I said, between lighting, sound, but now even power just coming all together. People want smaller items, but more efficient products as well. So it's going to be an interesting year for 2026. How do we pack more into smaller products that'll be able to deliver even more power, even more results? So I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in 2026.
Wow.
Like we've seen device with RFID on them, like the CDJ 3000X.
I was just thinking about that with the wireless.
Also
NFC.
That some lighting came out with some RFID where you can...
So ADJ, one of our brands that we distribute here, on their Protege series have NFC on board now. So from a pre-production standpoint, and even from a production standpoint, before you would send out all your lights out to a show or a gig, and everyone would change their modes or DMX address on them, come back to the shop, do a factory reset. For pre-prod, it's really important to know what channel your lights are on, right? Yeah. Well, now without even powering it on, because there's a power reserve in the lights, you can just tap the new ADJ app to the light and it'll tell you what DMX mode it's on and what channel it's on. So you're actually able to change all of this pre-production, but also for troubleshooting, right? Instead of going back on top, checking everything, lowering the rig through NFC, now you can easily troubleshoot without even going through the DMX board anymore. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in 2026.
Are you seeing that across all the spectrum of the series, or certain more on the high-end stuff, or is it even more on the consumer, prosumer type of?
No, I mean, I would say it's becoming readily available to everybody now. I think when it first came out, you would see NFC or these types of technologies for the higher end stuff, testing it out, troubleshooting it a little bit more. But now that it's available to the masses, I think it's really cool, right? The cost is coming down. They could put it into more products, and it's just helping everybody get their gig set up even quicker and more efficient. So
nice.
Really excited to see how that's going to be implemented into future products as well. Can't wait to get my hands on it.
That's awesome.
A little bit on what Franco was saying, we've seen also some cameras in 25 came out with e-ink displays on them, like the bird dogs.
That's right, yeah.
So even if the camera's turned off, as you know, e-ink display, I believe they don't really take energy.
Power.
Yeah, because I think it's literally like printed in the display. So we've seen some cameras that came out, even the camera turned off, you can see what's our default IP address. So yeah, more of this also, I believe in 26. But my take on 26, as you know, I'm a big fan of AI. I'm experimenting a lot with it. During the holiday, I was basically programming my own GPTs and stuff. So, but anyways, we will see more of this, I think, in 26. We will go from basically autonomous independent system to AI system that speaks together and orchestrate themselves against each other. So instead of having one camera that's doing AI tracking, you might see 3 cameras orchestrated together, doing AI tracking together, and also mixing their feeds.
Wow. So more communication.
As you know, also AI is very, very predominant in audio DSP. So we'll see more of this, all of these different components speaking together. That's what I see coming for 26.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of AI, I think, is getting more and more prevalent in all of the industries within AV. And I definitely want to talk about that because that's a whole like section where it's really interesting. And again, on the way here, I was just listening to a podcast as well. And I want to touch on that, like especially that communication between all and how AI. I was actually reading on how the development of AGI, or how to get there, and what advancements are happening between now and AGI, and how it can help even the AV industry. So we'll get to that after.
Maybe let's just quickly explain what's AGI. It's artificial general intelligence.
Yeah. But quickly, when I was looking up kind of the outlook of 2026, obviously I pulled up some stats that I want to share with you. Especially Avixa had some interesting stats, which is the trend analysis projects about global revenues climbing around 332 billion for 2025, and will approximately progress towards 402 billion by 2030. So not crazy amount of growth. They're saying like about 3.9%, which in my opinion shows that the industry is, even with everything that's going on with the geopolitical stuff and the tariffs and the economical stuff, I think the industry is still quite resilient. I don't know what you think from on the brand standpoint, but
I think we're in a really interesting time, and I'm not going to talk about AI this entire episode. I think that's an episode in its own. But just like how we saw AI concepts come to life in 2025, and now we'll see them actually being implemented and perfected in 2026, I think we're going to start seeing that same type of mindset for other aspects of the industry. So when we're talking about prices, when we're talking about product availability, 2025 was a difficult year. Let's be very honest in terms of sourcing the product, costing the product.
Yeah,
tariffs in its own was a fun time for all of us in the distribution business, for the manufacturing side as well, and even for the end user, because at the end of the day, the end user is paying the price that we've established, and that like we've spoken about the supply chain and all that. But now that we've been able to, like I said, kind of come up with those concepts in 2025, just like how do we deal with tariffs? How do we deal with price increases? How do we deal with product availability, manufacturing delays? We had to kind of go through all these things in 2025. I feel like now we're at a point where we're ready to tackle it head on for 2026. So we have a bit more experience dealing with the unknown, if that makes any sense, right?
Yeah.
So
even as an integrator too, like it's like how do you price a project
Yeah.
Just because,
Absolutely. Like, I mean, pricing stability, again, is an episode on its own. But as a distributor, that's going to be really important for our dealers and for the end users as well. And what we're seeing is we have to give really short timelines, unfortunately. How long are the quotes good for? Financing terms, because things can change at a single tweet. Let's be honest. Right?
And, I think integrators need to be agile in the way they are providing quotes or responding to RFPs because they need to put some, how can I put it, some protection.
Absolutely.
They need to advise the customer that the price might change. It's all in how can they put that in their quote to make sure they're still being profitable and that the customer or the end user get what he wants. And I think that quoting a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C is like having different sources, not quoting on a single product or a single vendor, but quoting more on a solution that could be provided by different vendors is the way to protect you in 26. It will be the way to protect you in 26.
I think the key term for 2026 is going to be flexibility.
Yeah.
Because stability will be very difficult, but that's where a role of a really good distributor comes in, is to ensure that the pricing is as stable as possible. How do you do that? Well, from a brand management standpoint, it's negotiating with the suppliers, making sure you're bringing in the right amount of quantity at the right amount of price, so that that singular cost can then be stable throughout the year for as long as possible to the dealers or the end users. So that, to me personally, is one of my goals, is how do we make things as stable as possible for 2026? And should there be any changes, are you ready to be flexible?
Yeah. And adaptable.
Well, without causing...
Hopefully, and hopefully the industry is adaptable or adapting. You know what I mean? I'm hoping that end users... I know a little while back when I was at the other distributor, it's like there's a certain period where copper was in a shortage or whatever, and you can see that some people just didn't understand, or in the end users didn't understand. So hopefully everybody understands that everybody should be adaptable. I mean, I would understand if I'm building something and wood is skyrocketing. I'm not going to start getting upset at the retailer. It is what it is, right? So,
and going back to what I was saying before in terms of, things constantly changing and flexibility, we're just going to have to be ready. Everyone's going to have to be ready. And I feel like we're at a time where we have products that are able to do more than what they were able to do 5 years ago. So you've got that flexibility because now products are capable of doing more than just one thing. So now, to your point, you've got substitutes available. You've got plan Bs available, plan Cs available by using different products in different combinations, and not just this is my set design or my set plan A, because there's so many products now that are capable of doing so many things, obviously at various levels of productivity or efficiency. You can do a lot now. There's a lot of different combinations compared to 5-10 years ago.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Yes, there will be some instability. We're going to have to be flexible, but we're lucky that with the technological advancements, we've got the tools to be flexible now.
Yeah. And to your point, I mean, also sourcing is an important. So you need to think about sourcing in different country of origin these days, because
huge.
You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, South Asia products manufactured in Southern Asia are affected with different tariff structure.
Yeah, that's true too. So it's pricing. So have a plan A, plan B, plan C, and not only your solution based on price, but also sourcing, because that's huge.
Yeah.
And that's where also, product reliability is really important, because all of a sudden now, if there's a manufacturing delay or a sourcing delay or a product delay, you need to make sure that what you have in stock is reliable.
Yeah.
And if it goes down, do you have a plan B in terms of service and repair that can quickly be done in time to get your rig back in service?
Yeah. I think without putting too much of but I think that's why I think SFM also got into the whole plus thing, just that whole support system, just to make sure that with everything that's changing in the world and stuff like that, especially like you said, if a vendor loses or whatever, there's a support system in place for dealers where they can, at least dealers or end users that can
rely on a distributor that can provide services and or repair.
And that goes to stability.
Stability and flexibility.
Stability, flexibility.
I came up with that on the spot, by the way. I didn't have it written on my iPad.
Let's jump in a little bit into the categories, because I think there's some cool stuff. There's a lot of stuff coming out. A lot of stuff coming out in each of the categories, but let's go category by category. Specifically, let's start with Pro Live. I think I know I went to Infocom 2 years ago, and they were talking about immersive experiences, and more immersive. Everybody's talking about an immersive experience, and there's different varieties or aspects to getting to that immersive experience.
Yeah.
But projection mapping, 3D object,
larger displays,
larger displays, and
less
stuff like
expensive, larger displays.
Yeah, so I'm hearing that larger displays, especially on the LED video walls, are going down in price. So a lot more corporate are looking into that, which I think is.
But LCD will still remain lower than LED and still being larger and larger also.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just at LDI in Vegas, and the LED panel technologies come a really long way. And what's really interesting is just when you think they can't do more with it, they are. From all the brands, I'm not just advocating for the brands that we carry here at SFM, but it's nice to see that the LED panel industry in general are really pushing the limits. You're doing larger displays. You're doing a
smaller pitch,
smaller pitch, transparent displays now.
That's cool.
Are becoming really, really important.
Foldable.
You're doing curves. So these modular designs now is allowing any creative director, lighting designer to come up with some really incredible designs. And I want to touch on the projection mapping because, quick little side story. I was on my social media and there was an ad that came up for an application that showed a kid projection mapping in the living room with an iPad and a projector. I know this has nothing to do with Pro and Live, but just to say, back in the day, projection mapping, that was like, oh my God, you needed a whole rig.
Server.
You need a huge server.
A server, a high quality projector. Yeah. And this kid was using a $100 projector, video mapping his sofa, and just recreating a scene from like his favorite video game on the sofa.
Minecraft kind of thing.
Using so many ideas from my kids.
Yeah, but it's so cool, right? Like using an iPad and an affordable projector.
Yeah.
Just to say, like, we're talking about this like 3 years ago. Projection mapping, wow, server based and whatever. Now you can use an iPad and a projector to do it. So it's really cool to see how far we've come, how easy it's become as well. I'm not discrediting, video designers and all that. But to see the advancement in technology in such little time is really, really impressive to see. So projection mapping, like I said before, wireless technology in general, right? From power, sound to lighting, we're starting to see a lot more NFC in Pro and Live. I'd like to see some really cool AI integrations with even pre-production, right? I think that's something that everyone knows is really important in Pro and Live, but it's just kind of talked about and then everyone just sees the end result. But pre-production is such an important aspect. Yes. The planning, the organization, how do we save on labor costs, right? How is AI able to help us with that? Whether it's just cable calculations or whatever it may be, I think that's something that I'd like to see more of in 2026 is even just AI software-based applications or design, to help with design and organization to get to your final product. I think that's something that I'd love to learn more about in 2026 as a personal goal. But lots of cool things happening in all those spaces. I mean, even Bluetooth. Let's talk about a little bit about wireless sound. If you would have asked me 5 years ago, even from a mobile DJ standpoint, would you rely on Bluetooth audio for your main rig or a cocktail rig, a single speaker rig? I would have told you no. Like I was the guy carrying an RCA to 1/8 inch cable everywhere I went because I'm like, I'm not trusting Bluetooth. Yeah. Whether it's for a 50-person wedding or a 1,500-person corporate event, I was not using Bluetooth. now the Bluetooth technology, I don't even know what number we're at now. I think we're 5.3, and now I think I read we're at 6.0 or something. Bluetooth has come a really long way in terms of latency, quality as well,
and distance.
And now we're seeing a lot of the portable products that are able to do true wireless stereo with Bluetooth, right? So now you're running a single XLR, let's say, to one speaker as your input, and then creating a stereo pair just through Bluetooth. So now you're reducing cable count, you're reducing failure points. So it's really impressive to see what they're able to do. And even on the lighting side, I mean, we've got some lighting fixtures that can last up to 20 hours on a single battery charge. You know, there's no event that lasts 21 hours. Let's be honest. But before, when it was maybe maybe a rave, maybe. You know, if a lighting fixture was able to last 6 or 7 hours, you know, you were stressing a little bit between pre-production, the actual event, and teardown. You're calculating, okay, my lights might go out soon. Maybe one unit has more cycles than the other, and the battery's not as efficient. So, like, you're starting to stress. But now the 20-hour battery capacity, I mean, that just opens up, you know, so many possibilities. Again, you're reducing cables, you're reducing labor hours. So it's really interesting to see what's happening in terms of wireless in general in Pro Live.
Back on immersive, as a trend for 26, we see, as I mentioned, larger display. I believe that hybrid events are going to become the norm, and maybe even large corporate events will be designed for remote and hybrid, an hybrid mindset. So you will be able to attend in person, but it's going to be, I wouldn't say as good, but the people remote will have a very good experience. And this is where we're going with more immersive, as I mentioned, larger display. I believe that 21:9 format's going to become the norm in high-end installs because you can put more on the display. You can basically arrange the data that you're showing differently. More on immersive. Immersive sound is now the norm.
Actually, I want to talk to you guys because I know you guys both DJ. But because you have your production and the smaller productions, do you guys see immersive or 3D object-based audio going into, let's say, a wedding where it's like, it's funny how you're like, I wouldn't see myself having like a one line array or type of speaker for like a small venue. I wouldn't say, you know, but having 3D object based audio, you'd have to have at least four speakers, right?
With elevation, let's say speakers,
elevation, proper placement. But I'm not saying it's impossible. I think a goal for a DJ or a mobile DJ or a mobile production company is to get in and out as quickly as possible. Now, it doesn't mean that 3D audio will never become a thing, but because of all the different rooms that we have to be in, it's something that's very difficult. But again, with technological advancement, maybe it will be easier. With wireless speakers now in terms of battery and audio, now I don't have to worry about getting an XLR around the room and placing a speaker there. And I have audio, but I don't have power there. But now with maybe a wireless speaker, both power and sound, maybe 3D audio will become a thing, or an immersive audio experience will become a thing for smaller productions. Might have to add it to my roster now. And you got me going.
It's just because we're always talking about experience.
Maybe you could charge an extra for that.
I'm charging extra. I'll give it 2%.
On the DJ side of things, I don't think it's going to be a thing for 26. But for permanent install, museums, something that's permanent or semi-permanent, I think that there are some productions already starting to design and deliver immersive experiences. Those immersive experiences are more custom. This is not like a format like Sony 360 or Dolby Atmos.
That's right.
But we see some elevation. There are some amazing softwares like SPAT that can help you design something in immersive audio format. So we will see more of this. I believe
taking like a stereo and then putting it, or a multi-track and then putting it into
multi-track.
Gotcha. Okay. That's really cool.
And yes, there are some up mixing, some plugins to up mix something from stereo to immersive, but
Multi-track is
multi-track is much better because you can take let's say one track of your mix and transform it into an object and have it flying over your head like in different directions. So
that's impressive.
But we will see more of this with the Shure guys who did design a immersive microphone to capture like 5.1 on a single microphone. So we will see more of this happening in 26, I believe also.
Yeah, I think like the beam forming, AI capture in general, I think we're going to see a lot more improvements. I mean, we've seen it in 2025. It's already a thing, but I think we'll see it being perfected in 2026. I think that'll be very interesting.
Even going back when I went to Infocom, I went to a demonstration, and it was the presenter who was walking around, and his audio, his voice would follow in all the speakers. And I have to admit, it was the first time for me listening to that, and I was super impressed. And it made a huge difference. So he would, flip flop back from like call it a stereo type of feed versus a specific object based, like follow, like what do you call that again?
They do
like
that
a tracking,
do that with a tracker basically. So they put a tracker on them,
exactly.
and the audio can. Right. Yeah, this is super cool,
and it makes such a difference. Like you're 10 times more attentive, I find, than I literally was getting drowned out when he started the presentation. And not that it wasn't interesting, but it was totally interesting. But just the audio is just I don't know. I can't even explain or articulate how I was just getting drowned out by the stereo imaging. When it came into object based, it was so impressive. And I wonder how they're gonna.
Yeah, it's funny because especially your home theater background. I mean, surround sound has been something that's been around forever. Why haven't we seen it applied to Pro and Live at a object trackable basis type of thing? Kind of makes sense, right? Going from like left, center, right. It works in movies. Let's do it in
that's very
Pro
true.
and Live, right? Yeah. So that makes perfect sense.
For someone that basically, as you were mentioning, if you're trying to get in and out as fast as possible, there's less room for experimental/creative. Yeah. So this is why we don't see that truly adopted for corporate events, but for places which are which the sound system is permanent, you can not mess around, but you can play around with this. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
So that I think that's a lot of cool stuff in the live, and I always, especially being at a concert, I went to the Bryan Adams concert this year, and
you mean 2025?
2025. Jesus, I'm still stuck in 2025.
It's a guy fell on the beach. As
at the Bryan Adams concert, and I haven't been to a concert, admittedly, in a while, so it was new to me. Yeah. But just having they gave out those bracelets, and then those type of LED bracelets, and then they're doing all kinds of weird type of stuff.
Pixmont, Montreal company, actually.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I'm always wondering, how is the Pro Live event, whether it's a concert or even like a wedding, how are people able to take the experience to another level? And really, that always blows my mind.
I don't know if you guys are Swifties or not, but did you watch?
No.
The Era Tour.
Did you watch the Eras Tour? Okay, well, just from a nerdy AV standpoint,
apparently it was nice.
Watch the Eras Tour on Disney Plus, and now she just released. And I'm not a Swiftie. I just want to put that out there.
I suspect you have Swifties around
a little bit more after I watched the documentary, but she just released. I think it's a 6-part documentary on like the production side and behind the scenes of the Eras Tour. It's funny because my wife and daughter were watching it from one perspective, and I was there like, how many LED panels is that? Really impressive.
You see, that would be
really, really impressive.
I would probably watch that just to see
for
the
that,
AV aspect, because apparently that was one of the biggest tour ever in history in terms of production and in terms of money,
cost, revenue as well.
Revenue,
absolutely.
So I would be. And is it on Disney Plus also?
It's on Disney Plus.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But just to say, like from a Pro and Live, you watch that tour and the way they were able to incorporate every single ecosystem is just absolutely incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. From automation, staging, lighting. I mean, obviously audio is kind of hard to get off a 65-inch screen with no external audio. Don't hate me for that. My wife doesn't want to see speakers.
God.
But it's really impressive to see the lighting and how they're able to do this in 150 plus cities is just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back, I remember when U2 in 97 came up with the Pop Mart tour with the Arch. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah, I know.
Remember that? It was the biggest LED wall in the Guinness Book of Records. And
was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was like big ball LED.
Yeah.
It was like insane. But and that really blew my mind. And then when the U2 did the 360 tour, I'm a U2 fan. I don't know if you guys noticed.
I was at the Hippodrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. The 2 days, even that was something spectacular.
Even that, they were calling it the Claw. What were they calling it?
Yeah, the Claw, exactly.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Now you look at what we're able to do today.
And one thing I always admired from them, and I think even Pink Floyd, they always tried to elevate that type of experience at a concert. And
well, look at what's happening at the Sphere now.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at
Sphere is,
the various types of events happening at the Sphere.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
not to downplay
incredible.
the Sphere, because the Sphere is really cool, especially with the
the external.
Yeah, exactly.
External,
everything.
Internal, immersive.
Yeah,
I mean, you've got everything in there.
Everything.
Yeah, everything.
But going back to what Hugo was saying is replicating that in different cities and different venues, where I remember going back to Pop Mart in 1997, they couldn't fit everything, I think, in the Olympic Stadium when they did it, so they had to make mods. And same thing with the Hippodrome in Montreal when U2 with the 360 tour, they couldn't find a venue to fit all that, the Claw and stuff, so they ended up renting out the Hippodrome, which was just on another level. So it's one thing coming up with the Sphere, which is incredible, and I still have yet to experience it myself, but having something like you said that can be replicated and get everybody try to get the same experience in many, many cities worldwide is I wouldn't even want to think about the logistics and stuff like that. It's just insane. Moving to system integration now, we'll continue in that experience in the hybrid collaboration. You were talking about 21.9 before?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yep. So
I would have never thought of it. I mean, again, I don't have that much experience in that world, but it makes a lot of sense why going 21.9 versus 16.9 is just so much more efficient for that type of event or purpose, I should say.
And I also believe, 21.9 is going to be a format for high-end conference rooms, but we will see more and more of those, what they call MTR, a Microsoft Teams room and a Zoom room. Now, there's a lot of manufacturers that are coming out with products that are approved by Microsoft and approved by Zoom. So we will see more and more of those, and at always a better price point. So Shure came out with a couple of MTR bundles. We have a vendor called D10 also. That's a Korean manufacturer, I believe, or a Chinese manufacturer. That have very nice product for a very, very appealing price. So we will see more of those rooms, like, single SKU, one SKU with everything in it. Easier for integrator. So instead of having to order like 6 or 7 different things and, I forgot to add that bracket. So everything comes bundled now in a single SKU. So we will see more of those in 2026. As I mentioned, Microsoft Teams Room, 21/9 format, and pretty much everything's going to go hybrid.
So easier to install, more affordable, more reliable, easier to troubleshoot.
Yep.
Okay.
Flexible and stable.
Stability and flexibility.
When you were saying 21.9, are you talking about dedicated panels that are 21.9, or are you talking about the format where you can bundle two monitors and?
There are some manufacturers that are designing 21.9 panels, but they're LEDs. But yes, actually, some vendors bundling solutions with two displays side by side to make a 21.9.
Right.
Nice.
As I was mentioning D10 before, they have a bundle with two displays and a bar in the middle with the camera and the speaker. They are also making a bundle that you can build your own, so you can buy your displays and put the bar in the middle and have the cameras on the side. So we will see more of those. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I have a question, and I could be completely wrong, but just because you guys have more experience in this space than I do, but we're talking about the advancement in system-specific MTR rooms or Zoom-enabled rooms. Are we seeing any of these advancements even on like the remote office side of things? Like, example, in my office, which is also, obviously a hybrid space during COVID, it was kind of like a loft area. There's a TV and whatever. And I'm always thinking like, man, I've got my 3 monitors in front of me with a not so great webcam. The lighting sucks. But I've got this beautiful 65-inch TV not far. Like, are people starting to bring cameras and like these experiences at home for the remote offices, or is it still really based in permanent rooms?
That's a great question.
I didn't read anything while doing my research about like improving the far end. I mean, yes, the far end experience going to improve because the cameras are getting better, the microphones are getting much better.
Yeah.
So you as a far end user, like as you being the hybrid member of my meeting in my conference room, you're going to get a better experience. But they didn't talk much. From my research, they didn't talk much about like improving your setup. But as you guys know, I mean, the cameras are getting, the USB cameras are getting much better.
Yeah.
Just as an example of one of the products we sell, Bird Dog did release a very, I would say, affordable webcam that's also an NDI cam that can run on batteries. It's called the Mackie Live. And it has a bracket. You can buy the bracket to put it on your monitor, and it makes, I mean, I think one of the best webcam I've ever seen. And all of this for less than, I would say, sub $750 $750 for a camera that you can use for podcasting, but you can also use it as a webcam. There are other manufacturers also that design very affordable webcam that will improve your video quality.
I hope that's something to see in 2026. Like, we're talking about trends and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I know a couple TV manufacturers tried to do the camera thing, or even I think Facebook and Meta tried to like come out with a video bar. But it's so funny. Like, we FaceTime even like my grandparents or my parents, and like I'm there with my daughter, my wife huddled around my little 6-inch iPhone, trying to get in a FaceTime call. But it'd be so cool if we can start utilizing our displays in the house to do more of those things, so. Yeah,
the only thing that and you're right, and I think there's a lot more focus in the corporate space. Everything is focused on that. I've seen a small camera. One thing that I'd like to see more of is, like, I've seen like this small camera, like the size of a button, where you actually put it in the center of your screen so it doesn't take up real estate on your screen. But when you're looking at your screen, it actually looks like you're looking at the camera, which that I think is my biggest pet peeve when I'm in a meeting. I want to see the screen, but when I'm looking, others are doing the same thing, and it I think it's off-putting. I feel like it's a little off-putting, or it doesn't seem truistic to natural to a conversation. But I can say in 2021, a buddy of mine who's into AI and VR and stuff like that, he's got a company specializing in VR. And I know when Meta came up with having meetings in VR, I've tried it, and that was pretty incredible.
Really?
And that's where, because at home, you're going to get stuck in that environment. And when you're working from home, I can see you can get stuck in that environment where you may have kids, you may have a partner or whatever that's in the house. So you can't blare the speakers, or generally speaking, they got headphones on and stuff like that, right? But when you're in a VR experience, you can look around, you can move around, you can share documents. That's on another level. I don't think that actually panned out with Meta. I think they abandoned the project. I think, or
they have a solution or a product called Horizon. That's part of their Quest VR headset. Yeah. So I could meet with you guys in VR, but we would be we would be our avatars.
Yeah, it would be an avatar. Yeah. But the avatar lips move and all that stuff, and that was really impressive.
Yeah, but we need to admit, I mean, I don't want to dive too much in this, but the VR thing didn't take off. Yeah. I mean,
it's still there. It's still there, but in terms of incorporating VR into the corporate space, no. The only thing that the 360-degree stuff is still working out is like the experiences. So like if you're on Google Maps and you want to go into a space and stuff like that, even a home, you want to buy a home and stuff like that. That whole
360 visit.
Yeah, the 360. I think that's there, and eventually that's easy to integrate after into VR. You know what I mean? You just put on the headset and.
But I think we're see some advancements there. Like I know Apple now. Actually, I'm going to go back on what I said. Apple does have some sort of integration when you FaceTime.
Yep.
So if you got an Apple TV, I think if you place your iPhone near the screen or near the Apple TV box,
you can put the iPhone right on the table there, and it's going to track you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But not only that, you can use your TV.
Yeah, that's cool.
Using the Apple TV and the mirroring, it'll automatically use the camera.
Works for Zoom also.
Really? Okay, cool.
Zoom has integrated that.
I just wish it was easier. I wish it was more, people adapted it a little bit more.
You can install Zoom on your Apple TV and do that and use your iPhone as a camera. So, but talking about tracking, portable device now have AI tracking. I'm just thinking about the iPads and the new iPhone. Yeah. So you can basically put the iPhone or the iPad on the table and move around a little bit, and the camera's following you.
Yeah,
so we will see more of this in 26. I believe some other vendors. I'm not super. I don't know a lot about the Google ecosystem, but I believe there are some phones that are also doing AI tracking.
Yeah. Very cool. I know we talk a lot about, and there's been a lot of focus, I find. I mean, since 2018, even before that, I find that we've been talking about AV over IP like forever. But more and more now, I think we're finally getting somewhere where I think the pricing is slowly coming down. And it's getting more affordable. And I think people are starting to understand. I think they're starting to get educated because they know that if you have to go into AV over IP and you're still an analog AV guy, you kind of have to learn networking. So I think that networking was the kind of the breaking point where you kind of have to you kind of have to learn networking if you want to expand and evolve into the AV space. But AV over IP, there's a lot of cool things coming up. IPMX.
Maybe not how can I put it? Cool stuff coming up. Maybe not that much, but everybody adopting it now with different AV over IP formats. But if you're not already in AV over IP as a distributor or as an integrator, I mean, you should get in it like right away because the 2026 is going to be about convergence. These different AV over IP format are going to getting more and more incorporated in the workflows. And basically the convergence between the IT department of a corporation and the AV department of a corporation is going to more and more merge together. So yes, you're right. The AV guys are going to need to get chops in networking. We already see that. Most of the AV guys these days have credentials. They not credentials, but they have trainings in
certifications.
Certifications, yeah, that's the word I was looking for. So yes, and there are three predominant format that we're going to hear a lot in 2026. The first one being ST2110. That's more of a broadcast AV format. That's basically a non-compress transmit method for metadata, audio, and video. That needs 10 gig infrastructure, but for broadcaster, they can afford it, and most of them already are building their infront 10 gig.
And have the bandwidth.
Yeah, there's another one called IPMX. We briefly talked about it earlier before the podcast. This one is basically derived from ST2110. Let me just pull out my notes. It is derived from 2110.
They're both open, right? They're both open.
Both of these AV format are open. Okay. The IPMX is basically described as Internet Protocol Media Experience. It's an emerging standard developed by AIMS Alliance. It's built on 2110, but it trims down some complexity, and it also offers some kind of basically you can start to you can compress, you can have compression in this format. It's a low latency, very, very low latency AV over IP format, but also requires 10 gig.
Okay. So they both need 10 gig.
They both need 10 gig.
Wow.
Where you don't need 10 gig is the NDI, which will probably remain the norm for hybrid events, corporate production, rentals. But this one, as you know, has a little bit more latency, but it's super flexible also, and it can run on 1 gig infrastructure. So that makes it a little bit more flexible. It has auto discovery, so if you have an NDI network and you plug a new camera, it's already going to be recognized. You can just select it. I'm not saying that ST2110 and IPMX are not easy to deploy, but NDI is well known for being easy to deploy. So we will hear more of this. And if basically if you are designing a AV over IP stack these days or an AV over IP network, you should consider these 3 formats, in my opinion. You should be able to bring in one or the other format, depending on which vertical you're working in, but you should consider those 3 formats.
I think it would be really cool to explore those 3 formats. To be very honest, I don't know much about them.
Like a comparison?
Yeah, just a comparison in terms of why you would choose one over the other, what situations you would choose. IPMX, I think you said. IPMX over another one. NDI I know a little bit about just because it's a bit more predominant in the pro and live space, but I think that would be really cool. Maybe our viewers can chime in and let us know if they'd be interested in that. Yeah,
we could have. I was planning on doing a podcast on those different types of formats. But in short, ST2110 is adopted by most of the manufacturers in the broadcast.
Okay.
IPMX is let's say high-end AV over IP, low latency, 4K.
Always permanent install though.
No. I mean, you could use it in Pro AV also. Okay. And NDI has been there for more than 10 years. Yes, you can do 4K, but higher latency, more compressed.
Even with NDI 6?
Even with NDI 6, yeah. But you can run it on 1 gig.
Cool.
That's a key differentiator.
That's huge.
Yep.
That's huge.
Yep.
Lots of things to look forward to.
Lots of things to look forward to. And I know I want to get into broadcast a bit, and we touched on it with ST2110. And I think we can dive back into these 3 categories, just talking about AI and how AI is going to affect those. Before I do, is there anything else you want to touch on into the broadcast space? Besides the workflows, because I had workflows, which that'll get into the next category. In terms of
workflows, let me just give me 1 sec. There's a new, I wouldn't say format emerging, but a new language, or basically a new format. It's called the Media Exchange Layer, the MXL. It's basically a collaborative open source initiative between EBU, AMWA, Grass Valley, Lavo, Pebble, so some manufacturer, but also some broadcasters like CBC. And basically, it's an orchestration layer that's basically going to enable true cloud applications to collaborate and how can I put it? And basically communicate and share the same media. So it doesn't need to be decoded or encoded, and it has a memory layer that basically stores all the metadata and everything that could take time to decode and encode. So it's a super low latency format that's going to be enable media exchange between different manufacturers, different platforms. So that's something on the rise right now. It's called MXL. I'm not going to dive too much on this. We could have a podcast talking about this, but you should be aware that that's going to be part of the conversations in the broadcast world in 2026.
I have no idea what you're saying, so that means we need to talk about it.
I know in broadcasts, so AI is going to be dipping into a lot of these categories in our. It's already creeping into our private and personal world, day-to-day stuff. Yeah. But I know AI is coming up in a lot of our spaces. And the thing I was listening to in the car recently is the race to AGI, or artificial general intelligence, is there. But what's going to happen probably sooner than later is a little bit what you were saying before, where AI will realize what the AI community is realizing is that AI is a lot more powerful when it's doing one thing or specializing in one thing versus trying to know everything. And that's the trend I'm seeing in AV, where it's AI used for tracking or workflows or designing in pre-production. That's all it's doing.
They call it the agentification. So you build an agent that specializes in one thing, that use the same backbone as a large language model, but you tailor it to do a single task, or not a single task, but a group of tasks specific to a certain workflow. And so you'll see more and more of this. And what's nice about this is you don't really need to be a programmer to program your own agent. I have my fair share of experience with this. So basically, you can program an agent, even with ChatGPT, if you have the paid version, to do a specific thing. It can connect to an API. It can scrape the web to find a specific topic you're looking for. Or so basically, I believe you will see more agents in 2026 for specific tasks.
And and to add to that, it's where that agent, and there's softwares that are coming out that are specific for that. So I'll give you an example. I think Rick Beato, who's that podcaster who does the music reviews and stuff like that, he was actually talking about how there's AIs that are going to revolutionize the industry. Because why? They're specifically just focusing on AI music creation versus everything. Yeah. And there's other systems where it's like it's a video creation, AI video creation, and that AI is pulling from all the AI video creation systems. Like, it's pulling the best out of all of those AI systems. So it's really focused in terms of one specific thing versus a GPT, like a ChatGPT or a Gemini or whatever, where it's very, very vast. And I'm seeing that trend in AV, where it's like, just in broadcast, I'm seeing that there's like going to be like in the AV workflow, in the workflow of like, editing and stuff like that, there's real-time edits, and systems, transcriptions, translations, real time, which is incredible.
That is one thing we didn't touch. I mean, with the prevalence of AI, it means that now you can repurpose your content for different language in real time. So you can broadcast one thing in English or in Portuguese or whichever language you want. But the AI is getting much better at a live transcription. So you basically suddenly are able to I wouldn't say repurpose, but have your content in one language being available for the masses, for people who are not speaking natively the language you're broadcasting in.
Yeah.
So we will, and it's already there. It was there in 25. It was even there in 24. So that's softwares like Pro Tools or Avid Media Composer or Premiere. Not sure about Resolve, but you can basically just transcribe everything on the fly in different language. So, and you can do, when you're trying to, let's say you recorded 40 hours of video, you can search your clips by words.
Yeah. Actually, for everybody who's listening to this podcast, this podcast is on the auto dub for YouTube, so we can actually listen to our voices in Italian, Spanish, German, and it's our voice tone. It's us.
I haven't
but
tried
in a
that.
different language, and I was having fun with it. So anybody who is not native in English and want to listen to our podcast, they can listen to it in, I think it's like 10 or 12 languages, and it actually sounds like us speaking in a different language.
On the YouTube side, that's taking care of the processing and transcription.
Yeah, it's a new YouTube thing that with the AI, with what
I would love to hear myself speaking in French when I'm speaking in English, even if I'm native French.
Yeah, we should mess with the AI a little bit. Start talking Italian to Vince, and start talking French.
multi-language. So even in a Pro Live, like we always talk about, we talk about auto mix in the Pro Live, but it can also be in conference rooms as well. But auto mixing video now, where the AI is doing the auto mixing, I think that's pretty cool. I know Seb is behind the mixer today, but it's cool to have.
We did try AutoMix on the first few podcasts. It didn't work super
that's
well.
Why Seb is
so that's why we have a dedicated audio engineer for that podcast.
Yeah. We won't replace you, Seb. Don't worry. We won't replace you.
But auto camera mixing, and switching, real-time scene analysis, I think is a cool push.
This is coming. This is coming.
Self-healing systems in the system side.
Yes. So
I know we had a bit of a conversation before the podcast about that, but that's I don't know how it's going to work, but
that's, I mean, AI is not going to, it could replace people, but having someone being able to take care of like 10 systems instead of just one systems because he's helped by AI, having AV system being able to self-heal, self-repair, self-analysis, that's also something we're going to see in 26. Maybe not fully deployed product and solutions, but we're going to start seeing people experimenting with this and some manufacturer implementing in their stack.
I need self-healing for my network.
I was just gonna say that.
Always mess it up. Poor Vince. I'm always texting him like, Vince, is this normal? How do I fix this? What do I do?
Okay. I'm not gonna give him he already has my phone number, but I'm happy he's contacting you and not me.
You guys are my auto healers right now. My
self-healer. God.
By the way, feel free to contact me if you have questions. That's going to be a pleasure.
I ended up spending like 3 hours just reconfiguring my entire network here, heat mapping each of my floor, trying to relocate my stuff. And that's exactly it. I mean, I think there's a time and place for speaking to somebody like a human being. And me of all people who's into tech, I still can appreciate how much of value that is. However, in the day-to-day, when I am clocking out from work and I get home, I don't want to spend 3 hours behind my switch and reconfiguring my whole network while my two kids are like yelling because the Netflix is not working and my wife is getting frustrated because she's not into tech. I just want to self-heal the system while I'm having supper.
Give me all the self-healing possible.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take it.
So I think that would be really cool. I would appreciate that. I obviously am for keeping jobs and stuff like that, but the day-to-day stuff, like on the major stuff, yeah, I wouldn't mind talking to somebody and kind of having somebody in and investigating. That's why we text each other.
Yeah.
But otherwise, self-healing, I think, would be cool.
And I think you said something really important is, personally, this is my personal opinion. I think AI should not replace people, because obviously for humankind, everyone needs jobs and all that. But AI needs to be regulated so that it can assist people. And that's the most important part, right? Making people more efficient, teaching them possibly, but it's there to assist and make things better, not to replace. That's my personal opinion.
On that note, I also heard through something I listened to that self-driving taxis. Yeah. Again, that's a company that the companies are focusing their AI on that. So again, they're getting very good because they only do that, right?
I saw it in Vegas.
Yeah.
A month ago.
In California.
Yeah.
In LA.
So what's interesting about that is you have 10 taxis and you need one guy to monitor the 10 taxis, right? So that works out. And it does lose. You actually end up losing 10 jobs.
9 guys.
9 guys. But if it gets really, really popular and a lot of people adopt it because the price goes down and stuff like that, then you no longer have 10 taxis. You have 100 taxis, 1,000 taxis, and now you need 100 people to monitor those 1,000 taxis. So it depends on, I think we're going to see a resurgence in, hopefully we don't get to that super intelligence AI. I'm one of those guys where I'm like, you know what, that kind of scares me. But I'd love to see, to your point, that assistance where a human still kind of has to monitor technologically and business-wise to make sure everything is running smooth. But I still see an avenue where we just have to get into studying more AI. And I think there's going to be more jobs into just monitoring the AI infrastructure.
Or steering it, programming
it. Exactly. Yep. Tweaking it and stuff like that. So, I think that's a
very good.
I think it's I didn't want to bore everybody too long, but I think those are the cool topics.
I think lots of things to look forward to, like I said before.
Yeah.
In 2026, we've already got a little preview of it in 2025, but I think 2026 we're going to start seeing who the key players are in each specific target and what they're trying to attain. And to your point, I think we've seen that when AI is used in a specific format, whether it's using agents or just really focused on one task, we're going to start seeing the real benefits of it. And that combined with, like I said before, manufacturing advancements, technological advancements, we're in for quite the treat for 2026.
Yes.
And I know we said this on our first podcast, but what an amazing time it is to be in the into the technological space. I mean, just when we started, there was like nothing. Like computers were not even close to.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's a wild time to be in the AV space.
Now we have 12-year-olds projection mapping their couch.
That is something I'm definitely going to try. Floor is lava. Type of floor.
Yeah.
That is
so
the
cool.
Kids would lose it.
And Dolby Atmos headphones.
One of the, again, side note, one of the videos I saw was this guy video mapping his living room. And so he had 2 sconces on the wall and there was a couch in the middle. And he video mapped like a hand picking up a source, like a light over the couch. And it would go right over the sconce. And as soon as he dropped the light, the sconce would light up. So through cool. like Apple HomeKit or whatever automation, he was able to combine both the video mapping and the light control. Yeah. Your wives are going to hate me after this podcast.
It's like, you're putting a projector in the living room?
Yeah.
What's the size of the screen? Oh, it's not for a screen.
But why is
what do you mean?
Facing the opposite wall of the screen?
Yeah.
What's going on here? Yeah.
It's for the experience. It's just a show when friends come over.
Blinding our wives with a projection.
Yeah, seriously. Cool. Awesome.
Thanks for a great chat, boys.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
Year.
To a great start of 2026.
Yeah.
And let's see what this year has in store for us.
We got a lot of cool videos coming up next.
Yes.
The next video we admittedly recorded in December of 2025. Very cool topic with Shure, which is experiential audio.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
So very, very, very fun.
And if anything the viewers want to see or talk about, let us know. Drop a comment.
Yeah.
And we'll be sure to cover it.
That's right. In 99, I actually was looking at our stats, and 99% of the people that view our videos aren't even subscribed, which is weird. Which is quite weird.
That's not right.
It's not right. So if you
subscribe.
If you like what you heard, subscribe. We got a lot more stuff coming down the pipeline.
Yep.
And hit that like. That definitely helps the algorithm boost. And like Franco said, leave any comments or ideas in the comments. And
and let us think. Let us know what you think's coming down the line in 2026.
Yeah, something cool. What have you seen?
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We don't want to bore you, but if you guys think of anything, let us know. Something we'll maybe talk about in the next podcast. With that said, see you on the next one. Behind the Rack.
I'll be your love, I'll be your sunshine, I'll be your love, I'll be your sunshine.